This week on Socratic Cinema.
These white people
They'd-
over here.
They'd say stuff.
I'm not them.
They'd say stuff like, "Oh, I loved Get Out."
No, literally.
Peele probably should have taken the scissors that he had everyone carrying at us and cut out some stuff in his plot. Oh, hands across America, we're all united. Right?
Oh,
Everyone in
yeah.
America, we love each
Like
other.
we're the
I
human
see.
race.
We're the
Right.
human race. Yeah. We don't see color anymore, right? Welcome back, guys, gals, and all my gender non-binary pals for a very special episode today. We are doing a Jordan Peele special. My name is Charlie Heatherly,
I'm James DeLisio.
And I'm Kasey Clark.
and we got a lot of movies to talk about and one trailer. We decided, hey, let's watch some Jordan Peele movies because we've never seen them. It's Black History Month. We better celebrate some really great Black creators. So we went through all of Jordan Peele's filmography, and by all, I mean two. And then we also all watched the trailer for Nope, or at least I did because I was watching the Super Bowl. And we have some hot takes, some raw emotions,
Hyping.
hyping, excitement, fear, anger,
Ooh.
question mark? Who knows? You'll have to hunger,
Crises.
Envy.
crises, envy.
Tatakai.
Any buzzwords that I can put in the description of this is what we feel. But I think, well, so we got two movies. Are you guys thinking we do one movie at a time, or we do an overall take on the movies?
Okay, ready?
Ooh.
Yeah,
Let's do this classically.
classically.
We'll go like thesis, antithesis, synthesis. So I think
Yep.
we go Get Out, Us, bring it all together.
Get Out,
Right.
Us. All right, I love it.
All
Okay,
right.
Everyone-
Chronologically.
everyone, prep your hottest Get Out takes,
Right.
because Kasey, it's your
Yes.
time to give. It's your time to give opinions.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay. Wait. So is this like two short episodes of Socratic Cinema back to back?
Yeah, this has never been done before, except for the one
Yeah.
time that we did do it.
But we don't talk about that episode.
We don't talk
Right.
about the
We-
the Prince of Egypt episode
Well,
that was
actu-
also about the Batman, apparently.
You see, I was actually thinking of Mandalorian and Rise of Skywalker.
Oh.
Yeah. So this has some precedent.
Yeah.
This has some precedent, but this will be the best one.
Wow.
Yep.
Yes, it will.
It's
It
an
will.
anthology.
Yes,
Yes.
an anthology.
And
In Casey,
speaking of
That's
anthologies,
okay. Go
anyways, we'll
take
get
it.
to
better
anthologies
get some good takes.
later. So, Get Out. I just want to say on record, I am responsible. Thank you very much. I will see you all next February. I finally got these boys to watch Jordan Peele movies. Finally, we got
Yes.
the light underneath us. We're good. I had a great time.
You
Uh, so
say that
all
like
of-
you had to fight tooth and nail. Like drag.
Ray?
I've been trying to get us
Yeah.
to watch Jordan Peele for so long.
Yeah, I
The-
was
the villain here is
waiting.
laziness.
Casey, no.
Bro, yeah, sure, that's the real villain. The villain's laziness.
Mhm.
The villain is racism.
Ooh.
Into
Oh,
Get Out.
hot.
So
Hot
Get
takes.
Out, hot takes all the time. Just like how the villain in Wonder Woman was sexism.
No,
I
did
can't
you guys
even
read
finish that
the Jordan
sentence.
Peele article where he was saying the real villain in Get Out is society? That is a line that he said. Those were his words.
Really?
I love
In
it.
a society. No,
Yeah.
I love it too.
I feel like the villain is the evil, evil white people who want to like steal their bodies. Yeah, I feel like that was pretty clear that they were the villains. But if he says it's okay, I guess so. Casey, so what did you think about Get Out again?
Yeah.
I thought it, again, great movie, ultimate rewatch value. Like, I could rewatch it several times with several different types of people all the time. It's beautiful. The cinematography is great. The jump scares, which they're not necessarily fully jump scares. Like, it just keeps you on the edge of your seat the entire time. And plus, the twist, the ultimate twist, okay. The performances, 8, finest china, like finest plates.
I thought you meant 8 out of 10. I
silverware.
was like, oh.
No,
Yeah.
like 8 left no crumbs. Like
I see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like-
My dad asked me what that meant the other day.
I love
Yeah,
that.
he was like, Kasey says 8 and left no crumbs. He said I like Kasey's phrases.
Thank
I
you,
love you,
Papa
Dad.
Delicio. Yes, I appreciate that. I will keep saying them just for you.
Aw.
Um, where was I? Yeah, the performances amazing. The casting directors that Peel works with or Peel himself just put their whole kneecaps into it. Like
Yup.
they had the most like nonchalant white people turn out to be the craziest people that I have ever seen. And I love it. I love it. The ultimate twist, the concept for the movie is something that I've never really like seen before. Like body snatchers plus racism plus like all these things. Like it's just it really, really set a precedent. And I'll get into it later, but this really kicked off this thing that I like to call, or has been called, the post Peel cinematic industrial complex.
Mm,
And
that's a big
Ooh.
word.
we'll get into, yeah, it's big, lots of hyphens, but we'll get into that later. But this was just a amazing start off to Jordan Peele's career. Again, he was doing like the Key and Peele show. All we really saw from him was comedy. And then he pops out with Get Out, and it really, really changed. It changed a whole genre. Let's just say that.
It
Yup.
changed the game.
The
Yeah,
game.
I remember seeing like heard all this buzz about Get Out when it first came out. I think I watched the kill count for it. So yeah, so full clarity. I knew the twist going in
Same.
did not detract one single ounce from the movie. It was
Yeah.
just as good, if not better. Casey's right that I can smell the rewatchability off of this movie. Um, and I think honestly, it sort of was like an interesting experience going in knowing the twist because it's like, uh, there's a certain sense of fun to being having experiencing the twists along with the character, but there's also a sense of fun to knowing what's coming and watching the protagonist stumble into it anyways, right? It's like, oh no, don't go through that door. I know what's coming. um, it was such an incredibly good movie, right? The hype is all the way warranted. Daniel Kaluuya. I mean, I've been a Daniel Kaluuya boy for a while now. I've been a Lakeith Stanfield boy for a while now. They both killed it. I thought I forgot of their names entirely. I thought the whole family, the whole white family, did a
Oh,
great
the
job.
Armitages.
The Armitage, the Armitage family,
No.
Armitage.
Nope.
they
Not closer.
they all did
No.
a great job at being so creepy. The brother most especially. I mean, listen, no one sees that brother and is like, he's normal. This
Oh,
is
no.
fine. This is normal. Also, I think her name was Rose.
Yes, Rose.
What a killer performance from her as well. What a brilliant show.
Yep.
Yeah.
The way she eats her cereal,
Terrifying.
we can talk about that.
Yeah.
The way she was looking at NCAA prospects, like, just swiping, doing a bit of research.
and I have noticed between this and Us, there are some Peel classics, like some stylistic things he likes to do structurally with his films.
Oh, yeah.
And I think this movie does it a lot better than Us. To me, it's a big risk when you have this sort of creepy horror thing going on, and then you pause and say, "Hold up, now we're going to exposition dump and explain to you in detail
Yep.
what's happening." That is a big risk because it's really easy to explain away the magic. And in Get Out, it sticks the landing. It 100%.
Yeah.
And my last point, it's something we talk about a lot, is moving away from Black pain stories. And this is that, right? This is a story about like racism and race relations and so we live in a society and all that. But it's also like a funny, witty, good horror that has like active protagonists with agency and a happy ending. And it's like, yeah, give me more stuff like this. I'll have what
Yeah.
he's having, please.
So very interesting point on that. Do you guys know about the alternate ending to this movie?
I do, and I think he made the right choice in not doing it. But
I
explain it.
think so too. Yeah. So this movie was originally supposed to have an entirely different ending. By the way,
Mm.
if you didn't know, spoilers. Uh,
Yeah, we're past
based,
that point.
yeah, we're past it. But basically, when the cop car comes in at the end, the original ending was not that it was his TSA friend, but that it was the actual cops. And, as this situation, if it were real life, would probably play out, he would get arrested, he's sent to jail, and then the TSA friend is like phoning in on the main character. What's the main character's name? What's Daniel Kaluuya's name?
Chris.
Chris, phoning in Chris, like in the prison. Chris is like very sad that he got sent to jail, but he's also happy that he like really messed up the Armitage's weird, body snatching thing. Very sad. And in test screenings, what Peele and the other producers observed is that there was all this energy building up, and the audience was loving it when Chris was like exacting vengeance on all of these people. Because, I mean, obviously a very cathartic moment. And he said you could literally feel the air get sucked out of the room when that ending happened. Like all of the fun that was building up the audience got taken like just completely away. Some people
Wow.
have credited the switch to the fact that Trump won over Hillary. I don't think that's necessary or that's entirely true. Uh,
Interesting.
I think
Hmm.
that it's more so that an ending where he is victorious and that also ties in the TSA character's like character more feels more narratively satisfying and is also a better note to leave on than ending in another horror movie where something bad happens to a black person. Because that's I mean that's the big trope in horror, right?
Right.
Uh,
I'm
Yeah.
curious about the whole connection to the election. What's the like? Do you know
so
the rationale behind why?
yes,
Okay.
basically this movie came out in 2017, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Uh,
Jeez.
so
Forever and a day
obviously,
ago.
yeah, forever and a day ago. And it came out, around the time of the election when that was all happening. It obviously was being produced during that time.
Yeah.
Uh, but basically, the argument goes that Peel and others noticed that in a society that has been like or recently took a very big blow and now racism is coming creeping back up through the cracks and exposing itself in very obvious ways, not that it wasn't there before, uh that audiences wouldn't like to see that portrayed on screen because they're already experiencing it so much in real life. And so that it's
I see.
better to tell a story where a black man wins and is triumphant rather than to show people what they already very obviously know.
I
Okay.
So,
see.
Actually, I mess with that.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's
yeah.
understandable. I think also just like I mean, watching it in 2022, which I mean, you could almost make the same argument in the wake of everything that's happened these past 2 years, especially. It's even maybe like more of that same effect now than it was in 2016. Just
Mhm,
yeah, in the wake of everything. It, so I think that choice has stood the test of time, and
for
that's maybe
sure.
a sad thing. That's sort of sad that it,
Yeah.
in a way that it has, Um, but oh man, I gosh, we got off on a little bit of a
I mean,
rough foot there.
I
Um,
I think it's also a very good thing that it ends in at least, a somewhat happy way, because
yeah.
obviously some of the people in the
Yeah.
movie haven't been saved. Lakeith Stanfield is, still lost out there
Oh,
somewhere.
forever in our hearts.
Yeah.
Uh,
Oh,
yeah.
ooh,
Yeah, pour one out
R.I.P.
for
Pour
Lakeith,
one out
but
for Lakeith.
yeah. Was this the start of their like actor buddy career?
I
Lakeith
think
ooh,
so,
and
actually.
Kaluuya.
yeah,
I mean, they're a brilliant team. They make a great team. All of the leads in the Peel films are just
Oh,
like
yeah.
fantastically picked. I mean, Lupita
yes.
Nyong'o. Um, I hope I didn't
Eh,
butcher. I probably did.
no, yeah. No. Lupita
Okay,
Nyong'o.
she killed it. She honestly, I'm not gonna sit here and be like she was better than Daniel Kaluuya or Daniel Kaluuya was better than her. She gave Kaluuya a run for his money for sure. Like they both destroyed those
Y
roles. But that
absolutely.
Yeah.
we're already jumping, we're already getting ahead of ourselves. Um, but I think that ending conversation is definitely worthwhile because it's one of the like it's one of the biggest moments of the film, and it's still I think the way the ending is structured now, it still gives you that second where you're like, "Oh, no,"
Yeah.
when the cop car rolls up. So you still get
Yeah.
that. So I think this ending sort of has its cake and eats it too, you know? I think it's
Mhm.
able to do both.
Yeah, and I think just overall, Peel does a really good job in Us with subverting like expectations. When we look at the possible like other ending, like I fully thought that it was going to be like a bad cop, but it turns out to be his TSA friend, Rod. Like, even the Armitage family, like, you meet them, and even from like Rose kind of talking about them, like, they're kind of like, you kind of get like okay, they're like woke white people that say, like, oh my God, I hate white people. And they're like,
Yeah.
I hate to break it to you.
It takes one to
And
know one.
there's no, for real. And like they said in the movie, like, oh, I'd vote for Obama for a third term. Like, just these certain things where it's so it kind of becomes like pandering when you're trying so hard to not be like other white people, like
Right.
these white people
They'd
over here.
they'd say stuff
I'm not them.
they'd say stuff like, "Oh, I love to get out."
No, literally,
Mhm.
or and say stuff that it really does come off as like, shit, this is kind of more offensive. Like, I kind of prefer if
Infantilizing.
you called me a slur. Like this
Say
would
it
be
with
a
your
lot better
chest.
than this. Um, and I feel like because he presented the Armitage family as kind of like, okay, mildly annoying, like microaggressions, and then there was just a whole like switch flip. Like, I mean, again, they understand, like, they seem self aware enough to be like, oh, yeah, I get it. White family, black servants,
Right,
like,
it's self-aware about it all.
right. It's self aware. And then it still gets you with the twist of like, oh, no, you thought they were just like the annoying person that's like, I'm an ally in your, like, in your racial justice class. But
Yeah.
no, they're actually doing surgery on people. Like, they're kidnapping black people, black men, switching out brains. Like, it's insane. And I feel like it's just a great way to present like these two kind of senses of like the palatable like white family, and then the palatable like black man, which I feel like Chris was trying to be like the entire movie. Like, he
Mm,
wasn't trying to push any buttons. He was very much like, oh well, I expected this, like, it's no problem. Like, he expected the microaggressions. He
right.
didn't like get angry until he's like, oh no, these people are crazy, like, he gave them the benefit of a doubt. And just like Peel kind of presented us with the Armitage family in that kind of like, okay, just give him a chance. Ha, psych, gotcha.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
And then he just did it really, really well. And so I feel like overall, subverting expectations, like completely destroying our preconceived notions. It's amazing that he was able to do that, especially coming off of he did comedy specials. And not saying
Right.
that like
Yeah.
comedy means you can't do anything else, but like I was like, okay, I know you from like your skits about the like all-star football game where you're saying like random horrible like football players names that don't exist, but some of them actually do exist. Like, that's where I knew Key and Peele from. Like, oh yeah, my dad watches Key and Peele. Like, it's not like, oh yes, Jordan Peele, this renowned horror writer, but like, or horror
Mhm.
director and
Yeah.
producer and like all this stuff. But like, that's what he is now. And it's crazy. He really, really just changed a genre for sure.
Yeah.
Well, and like that's what I see in all of his filmography is it's not just like it's this random comedy guy who came onto the horror scene. Like, he loves this genre. And you can
Yeah.
tell. Like, I mean, just look at the other stuff that he's done too. Like, he hosted the Twilight Zone. And I
Yes.
bet you it wasn't just because he's, new horror guy and, probably pays well to be the host of the Twilight Zone. It's probably because he watched all of those Twilight Zone episodes growing up and absolutely loved them. and you get this like incredible love for the form and love for the genre inside of all his movies that I think is really really good. The other thing that you get in some of his movies, and I think one of the big transitions and carryovers that we see to us, is he likes his sort of vintagey stuff,
Mm.
right? In this movie, it's the vintagey TV that Chris watches when he is about to, have his brain cut open for like the like Zoom call that they're doing between the blind white guy and Chris. And then in Us, it's sort of the entire movie and everything inside of it. So I want to talk a little bit about that whole movie, all of the weird vintage references, and like, do they actually hold up for people of our generation?
Yeah.
And just the differences and similarities between that and Get
I
Out.
think it's totally
Nice.
totally time for us.
Yeah.
I just want to say, hey, Bo Burnham, that's how you transition out of comedy into something deeper, huh?
Okay.
Huh?
All right.
Strangle him.
Oh,
Strangle
Drop
him.
of the mic.
gosh.
Drop of the mic.
We
Anyways,
cut it.
stop,
It was
James. Cut
going
his mic.
so
no.
well.
So we have Get Out. Jordan Peele completely changes the game, right? We're in a
Yes.
new era. Few years later, new Jordan Peele movie coming out. Us. Everyone's thinking, what's this guy gonna do? I remember seeing trailers for Us, and I was hyped, and I didn't even see Get Out. I just knew, like, this guy's got the sauce. Like, this is gonna be good. And I was like, oh, I'm gonna totally go see Us. And then I didn't.
Mm.
Yeah.
It's a very sad
It's
story.
it's an anti
Underwhelming ending.
but I really wanted to. And now here we are talking about Us. Does it live up to the hype? I will only be accepting one word answers.
Oh,
Oh man, you dirty dog, you.
My answer, yeah.
my answer is mostly.
Oh, that's a lot better than yeah.
That's great. Yeah.
I would
I'd
say
I would also
kinda.
say mostly.
Yeah.
I mean, Get Out's it's hard to top, man. It's really, really
Oh,
hard to top.
what I would say is 2/3 hyphenated, so it's one word. It 2/3 lives up to the hype because
Oh,
because
okay.
I really, really, really loved
Because-
2/3 of this movie.
Yeah, and it is hard to
Fair.
live up to the hype of Get Out, right? But I think that Get Out and Us are fundamentally different movies.
Yeah.
Like, not just in that they're actually two different movies, but they're trying to accomplish two different things. And I think Jordan Peele knew, okay, I can't just make Get Out 2 and talk about the same sort of stuff because everyone's already seen that. And I already made like essentially a perfect horror movie. So this one to me is less horror and more thriller to me.
I see. I feel like
Like,
to
It's
me,
the scissors.
Us is
it's
scary.
the scissors. This is the Friday 13th of the
Us
Peele
was a lot scarier than Get Out
Oh.
for me
Ooh.
because I think Us
Intriguing.
was more straight up slasher threat monsters right there. Us is a lot more tangible horror. Get Out is a little more. Get Out's not even psychological, but it's just a little more subdued. Um,
It's more
It's more
tense, I feel like.
tense.
Yeah.
Us is definitely more like traditional.
Yeah, this is
like,
Us is thriller. Get Out
horror.
is suspense. And
Yes.
I loved the first 2/3 of Us, like maybe even more than I liked the first 2/3 of Get Out. I should say acts because it's more filmy. I loved everything going on in Us. I loved the main family. I thought they had I thought they had an amazing dynamic. I loved Lupita. I loved all the performances. And I thought the introduction of the tethered was so creepy and ominous and good. And let me just say once again that Miss Lupita absolutely carried this. I mean, what
Oh,
like
yeah.
what
The
shockingly
voice?
different performances those
Oh,
two
God.
are, and doing it flawlessly. And
I love
then
a black woman.
you love to see it. And then it tried to do the Get Out thing where it says, hold up, now we're going to explain in detail what's going on here. Right? We already talked about that Jordan Peele move in the Get Out section. And when Us tried to do it, for me, it didn't quite stick the landing. I'm not going to go as far as to say that it fell apart at the end for me, but it definitely lost a lot of its charm when it tried to open up the black box. Whereas when Get Out opened up the black box, it was like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. When Us did it, I felt a little underwhelmed. Like, maybe things should. I wish they had maybe left things a little bit more vague in regards to like the lore. I guess I feel like it tried too hard to explain the lore of the universe, and also I also have some
Mhm.
notes about like I guess you could call it the twist at the very end, that I feel strangely about. But overall, like for me, Us has higher highs and lower lows than Get Out. I also think it's distinctly less social commentary-y. I mean, obviously there still is, um, but it's less overt about it than Get Out is, which is another thing I noticed, which is, interesting, makes me think a bit. And that's
Uh,
my opening take about Us.
Yeah, James, I agree with you on the point that you made about the ending. Approximately like last 45 minutes. Like again, comparatively to Get Out's last 45 minutes, it really Get Out
It
wins.
drops the ball,
Yeah.
yeah.
But I think just in regards to the exposition, like I understand that like it's one of it, like he's established it in Get Out as being like appealism. Like you're gonna get some like stopping point where everything gets like explained. You understand, like, okay, well, why is this crazy white family doing this? Oh, because of this, this, and that. Why am I locked on a chair? Oh, because of this, this, and that. I feel like with the exposition or just with what Gil wanted to explain in Us, that concept is way more complicated than we're doing like body snatchers. We're putting white people brain in black body and having that be it. In Us, you have to set up this whole like reality, as James said, this whole like lore, and plus add a twist in there, and it really got complicated. And I feel like if uh Peel had really tried to re evaluate how he wanted to do that, because you can do the expositional portion in your like start off of the 45 minutes. Like you don't have to change like the structure of it, but just like the way that you did it could have been adjusted. Like you could
Mhm.
have put like
Yeah.
hints or something where it's not like, all right, we are 20 minutes into explaining what being tethered is, like
Yeah,
Adelaide, like
okay.
all this stuff.
Yeah. Thankfully, it wasn't that
Oh
egregious, but
yeah,
I
yeah,
yeah. I just
hyperbolic.
I
Mhm.
think I just fundamentally wish it stayed a little more supernatural symbolic, uh,
Yes.
and not be like, "It's a government experiment, and we made clones of everybody, and now they're mad." Well, I would have
Okay.
left it as just like, "It's a symbol of your evilness, that's fine." Like, that's fine.
I
Right.
entirely agree. And I'm about to drop a very hot, steamy take. You ready?
Uh-huh, uh-huh. I have my oven mitts on.
So I think that Jordan Peele, you saw the fumbling of the third act in Us foreshadowed by a very small bit in Get Out.
Hmm.
And that is in Get Out. I think that he messed up a tiny, tiny bit when he cut back to the TSA guy for so long. Like, if we remember, Chris strapped down in the chair, right?
Mm.
He just figures out that he's down there, and you're like, oh no, what's going on? And then for like 10 minutes, we're back in the TSA guy's world, and they have like this whole comedy bit where the cops don't believe him and stuff like that.
Right.
Now that is important for the social message of that movie. I think it goes on for too long, but it doesn't go on for so long that the third act sucks because of it, right? Still a very good movie. I think it's, you could argue that it's a very fun comedy break. I think it's up to a matter of taste at that point. But
Mhm.
that little seed, that little inkling really gets its way into Us, and I think destroys all of the tension that was building up and all of the like just really interesting ideas, because you're going along for this ride. It is a fast-paced thriller, and then all of a sudden, let me just explain to you the lore of this universe, when it could have been way more interesting for you to never know why these things happened. Or I can't believe I'm actually agreeing with J.J. Abrams here. You could have been more mystery boxy about it and just not explained it. And I
Yeah.
don't think you really needed it, because the whole movie isn't about what the us people are. Like, it's not about who the mole people are. it's about this woman's relationship with her family, with her own identity,
Yeah.
and with like this weird doppelganger ghost. Speaking of the twist, Peele probably should have taken the scissors that he had everyone carrying at us and cut out some stuff in his plot. Because I think Get Out, one of the tightest movies I've ever seen. So good for rewatching. In Us, there's some really like high, big ideas that I don't think really stick the landing or that people get. Like, I'm not old enough to really know what the Hands Across America symbolism has to do with anything, and I don't even know how popular that was as a thing. So, like, maybe there's some stuff there, but this movie felt more personal. And then when it, as James said, put in, you know, like the government's trying to take over thing into it, that got like very not personal all of a sudden, and I wasn't interested anymore. So,
Here's the James cut of Us, right? Keep it. Let me say that. I can't take myself seriously.
No, go on.
Listen, keep it personal. Keep it simple. Keep it just. I'm tempted to even say, keep it just to the doppelgangers of the main family. Like, just have this be all about that family. No doppelgangers making hands across the whole world. However, I really, really like the action piece of them fighting the doppelgangers of the white family. I think that's really like a fun, well choreographed, great scene. But I just, I think taking it to that high level, like government, blah, 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 blah point, because Get Out, you know, it exposition dumps, but it doesn't go to like all powerful people across America are swapping bodies. Like, it's just this one family is doing this bad thing.
Yes.
And that message is indicative of society, you know, writ large. But that's a connection the audience makes, right? That's not something the film says explicitly. And I think Us could have done something similar where it's like, you know, keep it to the family, and then let the audience apply that message to society at large. I think that would have.
No, definitely, because even when you're dealing with like the idea of being tethered, like that, it can be like you're fighting your inner demons. Like, he still could have had the environmentalist like waste point that he kind of had throughout the movie of like, oh well, you guys are so wasteful, you throw all this stuff away.
Wait, did I miss something?
Yeah, I didn't pick up on that at all.
Oh, I kind of picked up on like for the tethered, like they have like for the tethered, they're kind of looking at it in like the jealousy of being jealous of their. How would you like the opposite?
Yeah,
because like
I know what you're saying.
Like, oh well, I was eating rabbits. Yeah, they were eating like rabbits and all this stuff. And
interesting.
Like I think it was in like some monologue that
it was. I know what you're talking about.
I think I just wrote it down as like, oh, that's interesting. I feel like it connects to that, but I don't think it was like a huge thing. It was like one of the things where I felt like Peele was like, oh, and by the way, little bit of wink environmentalism, wink, wink.
See, I didn't read that as environmentalism.
Oh, okay.
Like,
well, how did you read it?
I was just, I don't know. I guess I just read it as more like, kind of just straight up envy. I mean, I see the point you're making where it's like, oh, waste, and we waste a lot of stuff, and you know, and I see how you could make that connection, but I guess I don't know. It just didn't occur to me. And I think because go ahead, take it, Charlie.
Here's the thing with Peele films: you got to be careful because there is a tendency, however correct it may be, to say that every part of the movie has some sort of significance to it. And I actually sort of agree with Kasey. I agree with your take about the environmentalism thing. I think he probably meant that. Because Peele means a lot of the things in his movies, right? But sometimes it gets to the point where like you could talk about the smallest thing and then extract all this detail, and it just feels like I'm in film school and some guy's trying to really impress the class. So
fair.
See Socratic Cinema Season 1.
Yeah, see literally like Aladdin. But I totally agree with Kasey's take, and I don't think it's the film guy preaching to the class. I think that Jordan Peele, it is one of the examples of the big ideas he was trying to talk about in this movie. And I think that there were a lot of big ideas, none of which fully got developed or fully got center stage. And I think a lot of this movie, you could like talk about those things in very vague terms. Like maybe the movie is also a metaphor for the fact that like, oh, black people don't trust the government that much because of all the awful stuff that the government's done. And like, this is a manifestation of that a little bit because it's the black woman that's leading the charge. Like, you know, you could do all sorts of stuff like that.
Yeah.
I don't know how much of that is true and how much of that is not. But yeah, to me, that's one of the problems of the movie rather than one of the good things about it is how like vague it is on its big thematic points.
Yeah. And all this to say, it's still really good. Like this is
no.
I still really enjoy Us.
You should watch it.
As much as I like don't love the way it went at the end. I still love how we got there. One thing I wanted to say is I love how little dialogue there is in this movie. In most of the rising action, it is just like stretches and stretches of just dialogueless, just like horror, running around, action. So much is conveyed without the use of dialogue. It's very, very show don't tell, you know. And that's just a minor throwaway point I wanted to say that I love. But I'm gonna ask, with all these big themes thrown around, right? I want to save us a little bit of time to talk about Nope. So with all these big themes swirling around, what is the central message of Us, right? Like, what is he trying to say with the tethered? I mean, for me, it's maybe I know I mentioned that, like, to me, this was less explicitly about race and all that than Get Out was, at least in my viewing. And I think it's true that it's less than Get Out, but it's obviously still there. But I mean, just the idea of the tethered. What are we thinking there? Like, oh, people have to put on this like mask and put on this front to society, and there's this like half of you that stays sort of repressed in the shadows. And this movie's sort of talking about like what happens when you ignore that half for too long, because that's a pretty universal theme, I think. Like the idea of the shadow self, right? That goes back to Jung and all that. And I think the twist at the end sort of encourages that reading of like how does Jung call it, like integrating your shadow, right? Where we learn at the end that Red and Adelaide are like sort of, you know, switched at birth situation going on,
right?
And we've actually been following Red the whole time. Which that twist was frustrating to me because I was like, at first it was frustrating to me because I was like, well, why does that matter? Like, if we've been following Red the whole time, then I like Red. So what? But now I'm thinking more like, well, okay, if this whole movie is about, you know, like understanding and incorporating the parts of yourself that society demands that you hide, then maybe the switch, maybe the fact that the switch doesn't matter is intentional, because it's saying, well, look, it didn't matter whether it was the tethered or the untethered version that we were following. It's, you know, they're both valid, I guess. And that's my spitball. But I guess I want to ask, like, what's your general, like, how would you boil down what is Us about, right? Because what is Get Out about, I feel like is a little easier to boil down. What is Us about is my question.
I feel like, to jump off of your point, James, like with I don't necessarily think that the switch doesn't matter, but I do like going off of like, okay, well, it doesn't matter who is Red, who is Adelaide. I feel like it's mostly about like talking about how our like environment shapes us. Like between like Red being, because again, with Red and Adelaide, they could be easily interchangeable. Like Adelaide, who was tethered Adelaide, could have simply just lived her life without being switched at birth, and like the same thing could have happened, because no matter what, when you're put into that like situation where you are the tethered and you are living underground and you have to do all this stuff, like you're gonna build up like that resentment or jealousy, envy, like all that stuff, and you're going to lash out.
Yeah, I get behind that.
But I do agree. Like it's really hard to kind of narrow down what Us is about. I don't know. Charlie, do you have any inklings?
Any sage wisdom?
I've been conducting some research. So I looked it up, right? Because I'm an experienced scholar and I can research things by typing them into Google. And what I have gotten is the following. I'm reading from nofilmschool.com here. Hold on one second. Okay. So, us is, and I'm going to paraphrase because I don't want to steal, but us is basically we hide, as America, we hide our problematic identity in the shadows. And this is sort of evidenced by the main thing, Hands Across America. Hands Across America is apparently, again, I wasn't alive in the 80s, so I can't say for sure. Apparently, it was the big moment in the 80s where America was like, racism doesn't exist anymore, guys. Hands Across America, we're all united, right?
Oh,
Everyone in America,
yeah.
we love each
Like
other.
we're the
I
human
see.
race.
We're the
Right.
human race. Yeah. We don't see color anymore, right? So that's what that was supposed to be. And all of the people living inside of the tunnels are sort of the problematic identities and historical events that America has tried to push down and repress and get you to not think about. And they're finally coming back up to the surface. And I guess you could say that, America is in having a very troubling sort of way of dealing with that identity. And this movie was made during the Trump era. And it's like there's a lot of conflict with like actually coming to terms with that sort of stuff with some people specifically. I won't name names, but Trump supporters. But so there's a lot of stuff going on there. And that's sort of the idea of this movie is we've thought about all these things for so long and we've pushed them down. Now we need to really reconsider what we think about or reconsider how we think of America. And only by actively accepting those parts of our past and like talking about them openly do we deal with that in a healthy way. Because if we just leave it down there, it's going to fester into like this awful wound and it's going to come up and get us one day.
Yeah.
So
Right.
that is what No Film School talks about. And there's like another take on it, but it's, I don't know, boring.
Well, thank you, No Film School.
Yeah. That's a great, and I do think the context of it being a Trump era film means like it definitely contributes a lot, because even looking like now, they're trying to ban critical race theory. Like they're trying
Look
to
at
like
us.
do all
Yeah.
this stuff. So again, I think yeah.
I look at us examining the contemporary historical context of works of art as they're being released in our time. Someone should make a video essay about that. Someone should.
Wow.
Someone should make a movie about some stuff that's happening more nowadays and then put a trailer in the Super Bowl about it.
Yeah.
I think.
Well,
I mean,
yeah,
no.
I was kind of hinting. I was kind of trying to plug my upcoming video essay, but it's okay. We can
Nope.
also talk about Nope. Yeah, no, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. We
Nope.
can also Nope. Yeah, Nope. So did you guys see the Nope trailer? Hey guys,
Nope.
you guys see the Nope trailer? Nope. Imagine if I.
Nope, that'd be nuts. I've seen it.
Kaluuya's back,
Kaluuya is
Kaluuya's back.
and we got Miss
Love Kaluuya.
Kiki.
and we got Miss Kiki.
Kiki Palm.
And we got Mr. Yoon, Steven
Yes.
Yeun.
And Yun.
Dude, this is like the Avengers coming together.
All the
this is
ethnic
big.
sweethearts.
The
Like, you better show up at some point.
James was about to say that phrase that he's like, am I allowed?
I couldn't make it sound good enough to be funny. It just would have been rough. So I decided,
Let's go.
I'm not gonna listen. Here on the Socratic Cinema podcast, that's kind of like our main
Inject it
shtick is talking
into
about
my
black cowboy
veins.
movies. So one thing about us, we're gonna talk about a black cowboy movie.
Yeah.
This is true.
What fan theories, predictions? How is Yun gonna play into all this? The trailer laid out the basics to me. It laid out that there's these cowboy people and there's aliens.
Right.
Did a great job at not explaining too much, which is a problem with trailers these days.
True.
Yeah.
No, actually, I think it's a good
I think it's a good thing
Yeah.
for this. Yeah, because I feel like
No,
trailers I can pick up a whole plot from a trailer. Versus
Oh,
this,
yeah.
I'm like, okay, you got me.
You seen the trailer for the movie A Dog's Journey?
Yes, it's crazy. I
It's
think
the
it's
whole
about a
movie.
dog's journey. But
It's the whole movie.
Channing
No,
Tatum.
but like you literally see the dog. No. You're thinking of Dog.
oh, sorry.
I'm talking about A Dog's Journey, where the
No, I
trailer
love the gay cowboys in that movie. That was like, it's gonna win an Oscar this year for sure.
dog. I
That was
need
a
to see.
Power of the Dog joke, by the way.
Oh, that flew
Good
over
job.
my head.
God,
Um,
guys, it is 2 weeks in a row that I've made a joke and nobody laughs. Like
No,
we
I-
stand in silence for
Ye-
seconds.
we need. I think I'm ready for the Dogskers, where it's like the
Good
Oscars,
God.
but only for dog
Only
movies.
for
So
dog
like
movies.
Where the Red Fern Grows, Old Yeller,
There weren't dogs.
Marley
Racing in the
Sing.
Rain.
No,
There was probably a dog in Sing somewhere.
yeah, somewhere. Wolves? Do wolves count?
Call of the Wild. Yeah, we could put some wolves
Secret
in
Life
there.
of Pets.
They're
Isle
in
of-
the foreign film category though, all the wolf movies.
Isle of
'Cause they're,
Dogs.
like sort of the same.
Isle of Dogs.
Isle of
is,
Dogs,
is in
true.
there. Dog is in there. Racing in the Rain. If I didn't already say that.
Mhm.
Yes.
And I
And
did,
Nope.
I'm sure. And Nope.
And nope.
Because horses are just big dogs when you think about it.
Except
Yeah,
more
and
inherently
they're like
violent.
They're like alien dogs.
Oh my god.
What on earth? How is Mr. Peel gonna swing the aliens? This is an interesting project. 'cause
Yes.
It simultaneously feels like Jordan Peele and also is like, what the heck is this?
It's like
you
Peele,
know?
but also Shyamalan. Like,
Yes.
Peele's,
no, it's
Peele's
so
very
perfect.
Shyamalan. I mean, Peele's very Shyamalan-y. Like already he is. I mean, I think comparing
does
Peele
like a
to
good twist.
Shyamalan, right? I don't think that's an out of order comparison.
but I feel like Peele could do The Village, but I don't think that Shyamalan could do Get Out.
But could Peele do The Sixth Sense? Probably. honestly.
But could Peele do the last Airbender movie?
He'd choose not
No.
to.
No,
and
he
that's what
couldn't.
differentiates them. That's what differentiates. Dang it, never mind.
Try again. I want to hear it one more time.
You know, you got it, Casey. Come
That's
on.
what
One syllable at a
differentiates
time.
gods from
Good.
men.
Good. We do this every week. Okay.
I just want to go home.
Well,
we're sorry, Casey.
I hate to-
Why does this always happen? We're so
let-
awful, James.
Let it be known that we are almost done, Casey. You've almost made it through another session.
Okay.
It has been a trial. If you're listening to this episode and you've made it this far, drop a comment and say thank you for pushing through, because this has been a struggle
Bro.
to get this episode out. We watched 2 movies, had the Recordo bot crash like too many times, which just means twice. But we're here. We're here at the end, and hopefully it's been coherent somehow. Riley's gonna be doing charity work here, man. I tell you, oh my, what a
We
gem.
love you,
Love
Riley.
you, Riley.
I'm sorry, Riley.
Okay.
What's
Final
your-
takes?
Okay,
Nope.
give me
Nope. I
a
want
give me a
final takes.
Final
plot
takes.
prediction.
Oh,
Nope.
plot-
Nope. I'm
Nope.
overriding. Nope. Give me
Nope.
a plot.
Nope.
So
James, I'm gonna
Nope.
meet you outside the gym, and we're gonna fight, and we're gonna say things, mean things.
okay,
Every
ready? Here's my.
time.
You want to hear a prediction?
Yes.
It's going to be about colonialism
Yes.
because of the aliens.
Whoa. Oh, I don't know if I want that, man.
It's going to be about it. It's going to be about it.
That's sort of like the obvious thing, though.
Yeah, but he's going to put a twist on it, and the twist
Is that the
can't even-
aliens are white? Like what's
No. And the twist is that I'm trying to put like a crazy like full court shot dunk on the twist here. The twist is that the aliens are from the future, and that's all I got. My profit timer just ran out, so we'll have to try again
Oh,
next time.
man.
Dang.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I think it's not going to be about colonialism because that sounds like the most obvious route to take. It's instead going to be how we feel like aliens to the rest of the universe, because that's cooler. And the aliens are going to be the friends we made along the way. Chew on that.
The
Socratic cinema.
aliens are a symbol for the power of friendship. The film will
Yes.
be a commentary on.
I can't do this.
class dynamics, and Marxist
film-
economic
Is this-
theory.
Turns into Jupiter
Gender.
ascending.
Gender. Oh my God, he does gender. Is that the big Peele twist?
It's called Nope. Peele does gender on the bottom.
Every single
Um,
character turns out to be non-binary. Just no.
And then at the top of the
Yo.
credits, it says patreon.com/Socratic Cinema. They got it right.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
we're actually gonna get a cease and desist for this podcast
For
after it goes up. They're gonna be like, "You
Yeah,
guys can't
Like the
spoil
Parks
it
and
like
Rec
that."
for
Like,
the Book of Boba Fett. Anyways.
One week
yes.
we go from successfully predicting all of the Oscars to detailing out in excruciatingly accurate detail what the next Jordan Peele movie is going to be. Guys,
Yeah.
we should go into fortune telling.
We really should.
And audience, I want to tell your fortune right now. I predict that you are going to demolish that like button and slap the bell on your way out and drop a comment letting us know. Damn it, I almost had it. Letting us know what you thought of this episode of the Socratic Cinema podcast. It's been a pleasure. It's always a pleasure doing this little show for you guys. If you want to support the show and help us grow, like the trees in the Lorax, you can follow us on social media on Instagram at Socratic_cinema. Flip it around, you got our Twitter at Cinema Socratic. And if you want to support us monetarily as well as morally, you could become a patron always at patreon.com/Socratic Cinema. It is always an option. It is by no means necessary. We are always a podcast that believes in grassroots populism by the people for the people. This show will be free, freer than the United States, freer than the US of A, freer than the I ran out of cut that last one. Cut that last
Freer
one.
than the U.S. of A. Yeah, Jordan Peele's coming for you, man.
Oh yeah.
Cut that last one. Cut that last one, Riley. But you know, if you wanted to give us a little bump, you can always become a patron. There's lots of fun benefits, like hearing the episodes early, asking us questions, getting little monthly newsletters. I'm gonna have to write one for March pretty soon here. You just stay in the know. You just stay in the know, you know? Do I know?
And if you
I
don't know, now you know.
And if you don't know, nope. Right, guys? Nope.
Oh God, we're gonna lose all the patrons.
Right, guys? If you don't, nope.
Okay.
Will
this
pay
has
us
been
money for
another
this.
episode of Socratic Cinema.
Hey, guys. Adi, nope.
Oh.
Bye.
Nope.